I just found out why the kids in my town are brutally killing their parents. Part 6. Pinstripe's expression didn't waver when the boy's arms were forced behind his back. "I would suggest closing your mouth," he said. "Mr. Novak does not want to see nor hear you, especially words from a defect like you harboring his son's face." He grabbed Finn's chin, forcing the boy to look at him through his shades. "Do not speak. There is no need for speech inside this facility. You will be taken to the finishing room, where you will complete 3 more hours before separation." His fingers went to Finn's device, prodding the metallic base. "It's partially fried." His lips formed a frown. "No wonder you're acting out. At least I see the calmative is working." Straightening up, the man regarded Finn like a piece of meat, or the product which he was. "Your separation will be quite the spectacle. You are one of the first prototypes, so it will be sad to see you go." "And separation means," Finn hissed out. "Ow. Hey, that hurt." He sputtered out a laugh. "Come on, tell me. I'll keep it a secret. I'll be dead before then anyway." Pinstripe ignored him, his eyes finding me. "One of our stolen models," he said. "You are overdue your deactivation date. In fact, 1 more day, your self-destruct would trigger. You have been on the edge of it for some time now. Stolen models are supposed to self-destruct without a full activation. However, whoever took you was smart and continued to turn back the clock." He pulled out a small device, waving it in front of me. "Synthetic children who have been forced to live past their expiry date are a danger to both themselves and others." It would be, his head cocked to the side, "a mercy to separate you right now. We have been waiting to put our Mars back on sale, and with you separated, the link will reactivate." "How long?" was all I could whisper. Sorry. "How long?" I swallowed. "Have I been past my expiry date?" Pinstripe cleared his throat, clasping his hand behind his back. "I do not give information to synthetics. According to Section 4 of the Child Trademark Employment Contract, produce do not have rights. They do not speak unless spoken to, only in the case of either a guard or potential buyer who would like to converse. Otherwise, you will keep your mouth shut and your head down." "Just answer me this," I managed to get out. "Freddy and Noah." He nodded. Noah was an officially processed and bought model. She was activated, officially licensed, and documented on our system in June of 2022. Freddy 17 and Freddy 21, as well as Mara 17, were stolen a long time ago. Neither of these children have been available for use with the Neuralink active, rendering our ones in storage useless. Severing the Neuralink would kill the original host cloud, which we do not want. Luckily for us, a Freddy model was destroyed recently, allowing us access to the Neuralink once again, and we are awaiting the Noah model's deactivation upon the age of our most recent model turning 18. "Yeah, and then Freddy ripped some girl's head off." Finn burst out laughing, trying to project himself forward and being violently dragged back. "Doesn't that tell you something? He ripped off a woman's head, and you're not sensing bad vibes?" "Yes, that was unfortunate," Pinstripe said. "The Freddy Neuralink is badly damaged, which caused a model to malfunction." His cruel, unforgiving eyes found me once more, and he broke out into a surprisingly genuine smile. I might have believed it if it wasn't for his tone matching the robotic drawl of every announcement which had crept its way into my mind, filling my head with fake promises of a peaceful death. "Thank you for your participation in making mothers and fathers in our town happy, Mara," he smiled. "I look forward to seeing what your third-generation model brings. But I'm afraid it's time for you to go to sleep." What? Finn's sharp intake of breath was enough to tell me he was semi-conscious. "Mara." I'm not sure when Finn became aware enough to realize that another countdown was starting, and this time it was too fast to stop. I didn't even see the man pull out his phone. I didn't see him tapping the screen. Finn's cry registered in my ears, his struggling body being hauled from the room. There were no daunting numbers this time. I didn't have time to catch my breath and say goodbye to everyone I had ever loved. There was no time, no air to breathe. I had always wondered what my twin thought at that moment, being alive, and then gone in a single second. But there were no thoughts. Freddy didn't even have a chance to think before everything just ended. I thought I'd feel it, my body coming apart in a violent explosion. Except there was nothing. There was nothing for a long time, and I existed as nothing inside nothing, before slowly blinding light started to bleed into me. It started with the sound of bleeping and the feeling of something plastic pressed over my mouth. But I didn't stay in the dark for long. When I opened my eyes, I was standing in the middle of a forest clearing, staring down at the trunk of a car. In my reflection was my face on a different girl. Wearing a cheer uniform, I lounged against the trunk, my dark brown hair tied into a bow. Ta-da! The voice which escaped my lips wasn't mine. I mean, it was, but it was sharper, more vocal. I was wearing school colors, silver and blue, which I didn't recognize. Inside the trunk was a figure bound and gagged, a ratty blanket thrown over them. It hit me then that this wasn't me. This was her, Mara, who I was modeled from. We're just talking to him, right? You said we were going to talk to him, and this looks a lot more illegal. Like going to fucking jail illegal. When I twisted around, Freddy was standing with his arms folded, wrapped in a silver and blue football jersey, red hair, freckles, and a scowl carved on his lips. He had my twin brother's face, his features, and yet I couldn't recognize the vulnerable crease in his eyes. His sly smile was non-existent. It was almost like I was looking at a completely different guy. What? Your words were, "We need to do something," and I gestured wildly to the trunk of the car. Well, this is the something I came up with last minute. "Kidnapping him," Freddy hissed. "Have you lost your fucking mind?" What else were we supposed to do? I leaned against the trunk. Be realistic. It was either we did something, or Mr. Mad Scientist here goes through with his plan. "That's his dad," Freddy said softly. "Finn has nothing to do with it." "Well, he signed us up." It wasn't Finn. Why would he put us through something like that? If it wasn't Finn, who was it? I demanded. Think about it. His dad runs the project and wants volunteers. Nobody is going to willingly volunteer, so why wouldn't he put classmates forward? I stepped closer to him. Like us, for example. I stabbed him with my finger. The ones who have been teasing him. It's clearly his way of getting back at us, and you, my friend, are in denial. His eyes darkened. I didn't tease him. You stood and watched. That's just as bad. You, Freddie McIntyre, you're just as bad. So if I were you, I'd get off your high horse. Whatever. He averted his gaze. What do we do? Well, I heard that if you hit someone on the head like real hard, they'll lose their memory. Or I slid my fingers across the car. We could always throw him in. My brother's face was lit up in the glow of my car headlights. He almost looked ethereal. Crimson red hair falling in wide eyes which looked like they were about to pop out, cartoon style. Golden boy, literally. You do realize that's murder, right? Do you have another plan? I countered, flicking him in the forehead. My twin brother winced and batted my hands away. I sighed, half-heartedly gesturing to Finn. Do you have another plan? I countered, flicking him in the forehead. My twin brother winced and batted my hands away. I sighed, half-heartedly gesturing to Finn. The town is practically radioactive. It's cornered off and the population is like freakish. Seriously fucking weird. There are no kids. It's all government run, so families are made of people with zero relatives or inmates who hold their sentences there. We can throw him in and he won't die. He'll just grow another limb. Freddy rolled his eyes. It's cursed, not radioactive. Idiot. I shrugged. Finn will be a welcome addition to that psycho town. We're making our offering to this all-seeing, invisible god. No, he spoke through his teeth this time. No, we're not hurting him. Well, what do you propose, genius? His dad wants our heads. Literally, whatever the fuck child trademark is. Freddy gestured wildly to the lump in the trunk. I don't know. You're the one who kidnapped Novak's son before I could come up with a plan. You didn't even give me time to think. He rested his hands on my shoulder. I said an intervention. My brother squeaked out. Kidnapping, tying him up, and stuffing him in my car is not an intervention. It's straight up illegal. It's not kidnapping. It's forceful restraining until he tells us what he knows. Also, it's my car. It's not my fault you can't drive. What? I can drive. Barely. Oh my God, you two are driving me crazy. A face popped up in my car and I bit back a cry. Noah, our little sister. The window rolled down and she offered us a shy wave. We kill him. Obvi, she giggled. Also, you're wrong, but it's not like I'm surprised. The window lowered and she stuck her head out, her blonde hair whipping around in the breeze. The town isn't just cursed for no reason. Stupid people believe that. Noah's lips curved into a smile. The townspeople back in those days killed all of their kids, which had a ripple effect. There is legend of a witch who, after continuously losing her own kids as stillbirths, followed by her beloved son, she started to kidnap and kill children, ripping them apart and stitching them back together. She bewitched the whole town, who eventually just gave their children to her. The curse essentially stopped the town from having kids because so many had been brutally killed by this witch. She winked, and in the corner of my eye, my brother's mouth was slightly agape. That's all I know, though. I turned to Freddy accusingly. Did you? He shook his head. Why would I bring a random freshman I barely know? Do I look like a babysitter? I groaned. Look, Noah. Whatever. I know you have 0 friends and your family died in a car crash. And I feel for you, Nora. I really do. But hiding in my car and following me around like a puppy is pathetic. Please go home or to Blockbuster where you usually creep around. Just God, get out of my fucking car. Mara, Freddy warned in a grumble. There was movement in the trees, but I ignored it. I ignored the red light dancing between tangled branches. What? My breath thinned in my throat. but I continued spitting words as that red light got brighter. It's true. And now she knows what we did to Dr. Freak Show's son. The end.